Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. Welcome back to our channel Literature Official. Today's topic is educational psychology, one of the most important foundations for teachers, students of education, and anyone who wants to understand how learning actually happens. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what educational psychology is, its scope, and why it matters in real classroom. So stay tuned. Let's start with the definition. Educational psychology is the scientific study of human learning and behavior in educational setting. Now, what does it mean? It explores how students learn, what motivates them, how they think and develop, and how teachers can make learning easier and more effective. In simple words, educational psychology is like a bridge between psychology and education. It takes what we know about the mind, memory, and behavior and applies it to help students learn better. I hope it is clear. Now that we know what educational psychology is, let's talk about its scope. When we say scope, we mean the different areas that educational psychology covers, basically everything it studies and applies in education. Let's go step by step. Number 1, the learning process. Educational psychology first deals with how learning actually happens. It studies different theories of learning like behaviorism, cognitivism, and constructivism and tries to understand how students acquire knowledge, how they form habits, how memory works, short-term versus long-term memory, and what teaching methods help a student learn faster. For example, imagine you are teaching multiplication tables. Educational psychology helps you decide whether to use repetition, behaviorist method, visual aids, cognitive approach, or group activities, constructive approach. Now, we move forward to growth and development. Educational psychology also studies human development, physical, emotional, and cognitive, because students at different ages learn in different ways. It looks at theories like Piaget's stages of cognitive development, Erikson's psychological stages, Kohlberg's moral development. For example, a 7-year-old is in Piaget's concrete operational stage, so they understand hand-on activities better than abstract concepts. This helps teachers design age-appropriate lessons. Now, number 3 is motivation. Without motivation, students don't learn effectively. Educational psychology studies what drives students to learn, whether it's rewards, curiosity, competition, or personal goals. It explores intrinsic motivation, learning for personal satisfaction, extrinsic motivation, learning for rewards or goals. For example, if students are not motivated, a teacher might use praise, rewards, or gamification to encourage them. Number 4 is individual differences. Every student is unique. Some learn quickly, some slowly. Some are visual learners, some are auditory, or some are kinesthetic learners. Educational psychology helps teachers understand these differences and adapt their teaching methods accordingly. For example, in a classroom, a teacher might provide diagrams for visual learners, discussion for auditory learners, and hand-on projects for kinesthetic learners. Number 5, classroom management. A well-managed classroom is essential for learning. Educational psychology gives strategies for maintaining discipline, creating a positive environment, handling disruptive behavior, encouraging cooperation. For example, instead of punishing a student harshly, a teacher might use behavior modification techniques like positive reinforcement to encourage good behavior. Number 6, assessment and evaluation. Finally, educational psychology covers how to measure learning. It helps in designing tests, quizzes, assignments, and other tools to evaluate students' progress. It also looks at formative assessment during learning and summative assessment, end-of-unit or end-of-course testing. For example, if a teacher finds that most students scored low on a topic, they might reteach that concept in a different way. So, the scope of educational psychology is very wide. It covers everything from how learning happens, how students grow and develop, what motivates them and how they are different, how to manage the classroom, and how to measure learning outcomes. In short, it's like a toolbox for teachers, giving them the knowledge and strategies to make learning effective for every student. Now that we have discussed the meaning and scope of educational psychology, the next big question is why it is important. Why should teachers, parents, and students even bother about this subject? Let's break it down step by step. Number 1, helps teacher understand the learner. Educational psychology helps teachers understand who their students are, their age, mental level, background, and learning needs. When teachers know this, they can adjust their lessons to match their students' abilities. For example, if a teacher knows their students are in the concrete operational stage, according to Piaget, they will use visual aids and hand-on activities instead of abstract lectures. Number 2, improves teaching methods. Educational psychology provides a scientific guidance on how to teach effectively. It helps teachers choose the best teaching methods, learning strategies, and tools for their subject and class. For example, for teaching a science experiment, demonstration methods work better. For the literature, discussion and storytelling may be more effective. Number 3, enhances motivation. No learning can happen without motivation. Educational psychology studies how to motivate students, both intrinsically through interest, curiosity, and extrinsically through rewards and grades. For example, if a student seems bored, a teacher might use interactive activities, games, or competition to grab attention and boost participation. Number 4, supports classroom management. A teacher not only teaches but also manages a classroom. Educational psychology provides techniques for maintaining discipline, creating a positive learning environment, handling disruptive behavior. For example, instead of scolding a disruptive student, the teacher can use a positive reinforcement, praise for good behavior to encourage improvement. Number 5, helps in curriculum development. Educational psychology is used to design curricula and textbooks that suits the students' mental and developmental levels. For example, science experiments in primary schools are simple and safe, but in higher level, they became more complex and abstract, all based on psychological research about what students can handle at each stage. Helps in guidance and counseling. Educational psychology also plays a big role in career guidance and counseling. It helps teachers and counselors guide students about career choices, emotional problems, and learning difficulties. For example, a student struggling with anxiety can be counseled using psychological techniques to improve confidence and performance. So, the importance of educational psychology cannot be overstated. It helps teachers understand their students choose better teaching methods, maintain discipline, motivate learners, develop fair assessments, and guide students towards success. In short, it makes education more scientific, effective, and student-centered. That's why every teacher, whether in school or university, should know at least the basic of educational psychology. So, let's wrap it up. Educational psychology is not just a subject in your syllabus, it is the backbone of the effective teaching and learning. It helps us understand what learning is, theory, how students grow and develop, scope, why it is important to plan lessons scientifically, importance, and how to apply it practically in the classroom. Examples. The ultimate goal of educational psychology is simple: to make education scientific, systematic, and student-centered. When teachers use educational psychology, they become better at motivating students, handling behavior problems, recognizing individual differences, choosing the right teaching strategies, and helping every child reach their full potential. So whether you are a teacher, a student, or a parent, understanding educational psychology can completely transform the learning experience. So if you enjoyed this lecture, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more helpful lessons. And tell me in the comments which part of educational psychology do you find the most useful for real classrooms, learning theories, motivation, or classroom management. See you in the next video.